Today, boys and girls, we are comparing two oversized 4x12 guitar cabinets, and that's gonna be a lot of fun. Over here, we got the industry standard, which is the infamous MESA BOOGIE 4x12 oversized rectifier cabinet, which has been used on countless metal productions, especially in the last 20 years. And I say it again, is the industry standard, is I guess the most recorded cabinet in our genre. In the other corner, we got a fairly new company that is COFFE Audio from the Czech Republic, and I think a lot of people know them because of the band Ginger, and they are playing exactly that cab, which is their oversized 4x12 called LUNGO. It has different dimensions, but it's also a front-loaded cab, so it's gonna be interesting to find out how they compare. But let me already tell you this, I'm doing this quick and dirty video because those cabs sound so different. It's so interesting. So that means it's time to grab a beer and tell your grandma it is guitar cabinet time. If you are familiar with this channel, you have hopefully already learned how important guitar speakers are. Guitar speakers are the most defining component of your guitar tone, especially if you play high gain guitar tones. They shape the frequency response, and switching from one guitar speaker to another one can turn your guitar sound upside down, inside out. It can change everything. So the guitar speaker is a lot more important than the guitar amp, and even more important than the guitar itself. But you've already learned that, I know. But today we're gonna do something different. We're not gonna compare speakers, we're gonna compare cabinets. And we wanna find out how much the design of a cabinet defines our tone. I gotta admit one thing. This will only be a quick and dirty, let's call it half scientific video. To do this scientifically and properly, what you gotta do is take the exact same speaker into one cab and into the other cab and try to mic it at exactly the same position. I can't do that right now because this is a real studio and I'm working on 3 productions right now, and I just can't move things right now. I just can't move the cabs. So what I'm doing today is I'm taking the same type of speaker coming from the same batch. It's actually an Eminence DV-77 speaker coming from the same batch directly from Eminence here, and one going into the COFFE cab, one going into the MESA cab, and I'm making them with SM57s at exactly the same position. But you know what? I think I can get away with this half-scientific approach because the difference sonically between those two cabs is so big, I think it doesn't even matter if it's the same speaker or not. So, let's go! Let's have a look at the signal path. As usual, I'm playing my beloved Fernandez Ravel baritone guitar loaded with EMGs. We're just using the 81 because this video is about chuga and nothing else. And I actually can switch between 2 different amps. So the first amp we are starting with is my Brunetti Extra Lead, but I'm using a different preamp just to be a little more fancy. As you can see, I'm using the Fryette Pitbull preamp going into the power amp of the Brunetti. And later we will also switch to my beloved Dietzel D-Moll, which has a very different mid-range. That's going to be interesting as well. So we got those 2 amps. We start with the VHT Pitbull going into the Brunetti. So the VHT, by the way, that is the module from Synergy. As usual, there's a link to all the available gear below if you want to check it out. Okay, I can switch right here with my KHE switcher between those 2 cabinets and also between the amps. So I will either play the COFFE cab or the MESA BOOGIE cab. And we can, on the fly, just compare them. Both cabs are in my live room over there, and they're both mic'd with one single SM57, pretty much in the same position. In both cabinets, we have Eminence DV-77 speakers in 8 ohm. As you might know, my favorite guitar speaker. Check out my Eminence DV-77 IR pack that I did, like officially with Eminence Digital. So I want to start with the COFFE Audio cab. Let's just have a listen. Are you ready? Let's switch to the Mesa cab. Back to the coffee. Mesa. And what a huge difference, right? Coffee. I'm blown away by how different that sounds. Oh my God. So this is the Mesa cab. Let me try to describe that sound. It just sounds so precise and so clean. It just makes me want to play something like... You know, the early metalcore stuff, those kind of riffs, you know? Because it sounds so precise. So if this is like the tonal information of your guitar tone, there's not much around it. It's so clean. So this is a very clean and very focused representation of the musical information of your guitar tone. There are no hissy frequencies. There's not a lot of noisy information. There are no resonances. Overall, very clean, very tight in the low end, and very focused. Is that a good thing? Maybe. Clean can be good, clean can be boring, who knows? If you switch to the coffee cab, there's a whole bunch of stuff added. That's how it sounds. First of all, it just sounds more dirty. It's less mid-rangey. There's a lot more like noisy information above the actual guitar tone. There's also a more resonant and less tight low end than compared to the Boogie. And it just feels like having a certain film, like a slimy film on your teeth. You know, there's something added, like a coating to the actual guitar tone. And when you switch to the Boogie, you can take that film away. You can remove the slime. Much cleaner, right? Also, the low end of the Mesa is less resonant. Coffee. And overall, it has that kind of 1K pronounced mid-bite. But the main difference for me is one is clean and one is dirty, right? I wasn't expecting that, but it's a clean versus dirty kind of thing. Also, like the high-end rattle that the coffee cab has reminds me a little of a tamed version of an Engel 4x12. And I know that the Engels are also front-loaded, so maybe the fact that those coffee cabs are front-loaded, which means you screw the speaker in from the front and not from the back, and that seems to make a difference, right? Is responsible for that very, very different higher mid and high-end response. And to be honest, in this setup with the Pitbull preamp, which sounds really fast and tight and a little cold and just very aggressive, I prefer the dirtier sound of the coffee cab, like this one. It just adds something nice to the tone, because clean is not always good. The Mesa just sounds a little boring here. But you know what? the whole thing changes when we use a different amplifier. So if I switch to the Diesel Demol, which has the most complex mid-range that you can imagine, it sounds beautiful with the Mesa. And that's a coffee cab. That just seems to be a little too much of everything. So the complex mid-range of the Diesel just sounds better with a little cleaner sounding cab, Mesa. In this case, the Mesa is just a better representation of how the amp actually sounds. But you heard it before, with the Pitbull preamp, it's kind of the opposite. So what we learn is, none of them is really better or worse. It depends on what you want. As usual, right? We're making heavy metal here, we're making noise. So it's not about good and bad in a technical way or clean and dirty. It's all about what you prefer. I can make records, and I will make records, and I'm already doing records with both those cabs. And it depends on your rig. You got to test those cabs. And if you have a studio, you need both. You need a lot of cabs, because that way you can find unique tones. You can even blend those cabs. So I would say if it's more about precision, if you play very technical and fast music with a lot of distortion, and you want absolute precision, and you want your playing to cut through a dense mix, I would say the Mesa cab is for you. If you want something that is a little more vibey, that adds a little more character to the tone, that adds a little more noise, that adds a little more low end and resonances to the tone, maybe makes it a little more interesting, the Coffee might be yours, right? Go for the coffee. Have a coffee. Ah, those beautiful German jokes. If you play the Boogie cab is better, but if you go for that added crunch and slime is just very, very beautiful. So I would describe the COFFE AUDIO LUINGO as a great alternative to the Mesa cab, but you gotta understand that it will sound very different. It will sound brighter, it will have more low end and more resonances, and will sound less tight in the low end, but it has a lot of vibe, and it will make your tone a lot more dirty. Like I said, it's like a slimy film on your teeth. You know, that can be beautiful. We all know that. And just ask your grandma, right? She's watching, right? That's all for today. I just wanted to show you that I'm having fun with both those cabinets, and I'm gonna use both of them in a lot of future productions. And this is important once again. Now I know if I want things a little more dirty and crunchy, I go for Coffee. If I need things cleaner, I go for Mesa. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that great? Yes, it is. All right, boys and girls, I know you want to hear those cabinets in a mix. So coming up is the infamous Grindstein song, both reamped through the Mesa and the COFFE audio cabinet, so you can compare them and find out which one you prefer. As usual, there are lots of links below to both cabinets and all the gear, the available gear used in this video. What I want you to do is to subscribe to this channel, okay? Do that now, and tell your grandma to do the same thing. She loves me, I know it, right? And if you want to know more about not only me, but also about the upcoming Kohle Audio Cult, which is my recording, mixing, metal academy coming in October, together with Warren Ewart, you better subscribe to my email list, which you also find below. Leave a comment, please, and let me know how you like this video, and let me know which one you preferred. Which one is your cabinet? Which one is your amp? That's all for today. Enjoy the Grindstein song. I see you in hell, motherfuckers. Bye-bye.